All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and get into this. We see Action Comics number 363 is the first comic I'll be showing off today. It is a cover by the great Neal Adams, rest in peace. He is by far one of my favorite DC artists. And so I didn't have this one, so I got this one from my local comic book shop. Really glad to get it. It was only for $9. And it looks like Superman is in big trouble here as he has contracted the leper from Krypton, a virus X. And so this looks really interesting. I'm sure it's going to be a great read. And the grade for this one is probably about a 3.0. I think some of the pages are a little loose in this comic, but overall it presents very well. And I'm very glad to add this to my Neal Adams collection. Following along with issue number 363, we also have issue 364. I got this also for $9. And that's continuing this storyline where Superman has contracted the virus X, and the doctors are doing their best to help him out, but I mean, he is really dying and dying quickly here. So it's another Neal Adams cover, and I was glad to add this one. My local comic book shop, I mean, they definitely have some great deals, and I think, you know, $9 for a Silver Age book, even if it's in low grade condition, it's not that bad. So again, glad to add this to my Neal Adams run, where I don't really have that much Superman, but you know, anything that Neal Adams worked on, I'm happy to pick up. So that is issue 364, and this one is in a little better condition. You see there's a little bit of stress on the spine here, so it's probably about a 3.5 to a 4 in my opinion. And then there we got another Action Comics, and this is issue number 374. And this one is going to be very interesting here. We see Superman, Public Enemy, and #1, another Neal Adams cover here. You just can't go wrong with Neal Adams' work here, especially on these beautiful covers back in the late 60s. I think that, I don't really know the year of this one. It's probably about 1968 or 69. But yeah, another Neal Adams cover here. This one is about in the same grade as the last issue, probably about a 3.5 to a 4. So really glad to add this one to my collection. So yeah, folks, I'm definitely adding more Neal Adams to my collection. And I just came across these books at my comic book shop, and I'm like, wow, you know, that's a good deal. All right, so now moving on, I think that's the only DC that I'll be showing in this haul. The remainder of these books will be Marvel. So as y'all know, I'm a big Defenders fan. And so we have The Defenders issue number 12. I got this for $10. It was on the wall. And I was in a bit of a rush. I got these books actually yesterday. And I was at my comic book shop with my wife, and we were in a bit of a hurry. I only had about maybe 15 minutes to really look around and gather up as many books as I could before we had to go. And this was like the last book I grabbed off the wall. I mean, I was like, dang, what? I got like $10 left. What can I use, or what can I buy with that $10? And I just so happened to glance at the wall and see this beauty of a cover here. I mean, and this copy I didn't have. Y'all know I'm working on my Defenders run. I don't have this one, and this one is probably in a VF shape. I mean, this one is in really, really great shape. I mean, it has a bit of like spine ticks right there, but the colors on this cover is just vibrant and beautiful. So glad to add not only one I didn't have, which is issue 12, but also just glad that I was able to get it in such a great condition, because a lot of my earlier Defenders books are in lower grade, but this one is probably one of the highest grades I have for the early issues of the Defenders. And this is a John Romita Sr. cover, by the way, which is, once again, one of my favorite comic book artists. So glad to add that one to the collection. Some of these I still need to bag and board, like the next two I'm showing here. This is issue number 85. I didn't have this one. And so, yes, my comic book store, they don't put these in bags and boards, all of them, which they should. So any books that are not in these bag and boards, if you will, they're for $2. So I got this one for $2. I'm gonna definitely put that in a bag and board. I just need to buy some more. And also issue 86. So continuing my run with the Defenders here. Really glad to continue to find these out in the open, and they are also newsstands. So that's really cool. So yeah, just working slowly but surely on my Defenders run. I still need a good 100 and maybe 15 books left. But, slowly but surely I'll have all of the run. That's my goal. All right, so now we're moving on to Moon Knight here. We have issue number 9. Moon Knight is another title that I was working on last year. I had picked up maybe 3 or 4 books from this run. I think this is like the very first solid run that Moon Knight had back in the early 80s. So this is issue number 9, and I got this for $6. I thought that was a good price for the condition of this book. This is probably in maybe 5 to 5.5 condition. So about mid-grade. But it's one I didn't have, and y'all, I just love the artwork on this series too, by Bill Sekowitz. I think that's how you say his name. But anyway, hope I didn't butcher his name. But Moon Knight's a really cool character. I definitely like the Moon Knight series on Disney Plus. But of course it wasn't perfect. I think they should have had more of Moon Knight in the series than just Stephen Grant and Mark Spector. It should have been more action-packed. I think the series would have been a lot better if it would have been more grounded in just Moon Knight beating up guys, But anyway, here's issue number 10. Got that also for $6. Really glad to add this one to the collection. And so those were the only 2 Moon Knights that I was able to pick up. Like I said, I was in a very big rush to get out of there. We had to go run some errands, And so then I also came across some Marvel Team Up. So I had taken a bit of a pause on collecting Marvel Team Up, but I definitely added a great deal to the run last year, and so I was able to snag up some more Marvel Team Ups that I didn't have. So here we have issue number 42. Spider-Man teaming up with the Vision. Got this for $3. Can't beat that price. This is one I didn't have. All right. Following along with that storyline, we have issue number 43. They got this one for $8. Spider-Man teaming up with Dr. Doom, of all people. Gotta love these Bronze Age books, man. They are just so awesome. This is my favorite eras of collecting, is the Bronze Age, man. I just love the Bronze Age and the Silver Age too, but the Silver Age is a little less affordable, but still, Bronze Age definitely had some of the best artwork for Marvel and DC. So here we have issue number 44, Spider-Man and Moondragon. So this is one long storyline. I think it goes for like 4 issues. And so now I have all 4 or 5 parts to this storyline with Spider-Man teaming up with multiple people. You see Vision is in this comic as well. And so yeah, folks, really excited to add more of these books to my collection, because the goal is to hopefully finish this run. But that's going to take a little bit. I still have a good 100 odd issues left of this run to collect, but no rush. Here we have issue number 45. Got this for $6. Spider-Man and Killraven. Spidey battles the Martians in the most earth-shaking struggle of all. You'll never forgive yourself if you fail to read Future Shock. So yeah, I collect anything that is Spider-Man. Anything that has Spider-Man in the title, that's what I'm all about. But let's move on now to the Fantastic Four. So y'all know, if you've been watching my past hauls, I am working on John Byrne's Fantastic Four run, and I only have about 18 issues left of that run that he worked on back in the 80s to officially have the whole run. So I'm getting close. So this is one I didn't have, issue number 251. And a newsstand, and this is probably about a 5.55 condition. And also issue number 250. This is the special 250th issue. I used to own this copy a long time ago, but I ended up selling it in a big garage sale that I had a couple of years ago. And so I'm glad to add it back to my collection. So this one has guest appearances of the X-Men, Spider-Man, and Captain America. So this is going to be a really cool one to read and just add to my John Byrne Fantastic Four collection. All right, and so the last book I have to show is a unique book here. So we were just about to leave the comic book store yesterday. I was going through the Spider-Man section, and my wife's like, ooh, this one looks really good. Why don't you get this one? Well, I tried explaining to my wife, I'm like, look, honey, I'm not really a modern collector. I don't collect stuff that has just come out or is like a year old. But the more she tried to convince me, the more I gave in. And so I bought this one here for $4. This is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 21. The legacy number is number 915. So this is like the very earliest Spider-Man I have ever owned. And, you know, it's a really nice cover. It's drawn by John Romita Jr., if y'all didn't know, and he's been the one working on the current Spider-Man run for these going on now 21. I think they're now on issue close to 30 now. But anyway, John Romita Jr. has been working on Amazing Spider-Man for a long time. I pretty much prefer his stuff from the 80s more than his current runs on stuff. Just my opinion, I think his artwork in the 80s was a lot better, especially with his original Amazing Spider-Man run and on Uncanny X-Men. But still, it's still a nice book to get, and it's a beautiful cover. So it's kind of a hit or miss with me when it comes to John Romita Jr., because he can come out with some stellar books, but then some of his artwork definitely is like hit or miss. All right, so the rest of these books that I'm going to show off here today are from eBay, from mycomicshop.com. So let's go ahead now and get on with this. We have issue number 275, a beautiful Spider-Man fighting the Hobgoblin. Really looking forward to this one here. And it has the origin of Spider-Man. So really cool, 37-page book epic. So as y'all know, I've been reading the Copper Age this year. Really dedicated my time to collecting more of the Copper Age. And this is one I didn't have. So I'm really glad to add this one. And I'm really just really love Tom DeFalco's work on Amazing Spider-Man back in the 80s. He was a really great writer for this book. And Ron Frenz was definitely a great artist. Going along the same lines with Fantastic Four, I also got issue number 246 with Doctor Doom. So this is a really cool Doctor Doom cover. It's one I didn't have, and it is in a newsstand. Got it in fine condition. That's what I really love about mycomicshop.com, is that they put the grade on this sticker, so you automatically know what the grade is when you pull it out of your long box. But eventually, I'm gonna have to put these in new bags and boards eventually. Here we have issue number 11, a beautiful cover here, just wonderful cover here by Beecham, Mark Beecham, I believe. Just a beautiful cover, issue number 11. Working on my Web of Spider-Man run. I now have like the first 13 issues, which is really cool. Issue number 12. We have a beautiful cover here, once again by Mark Beecham. And it looks like Mary Jane Watson is in big trouble here, as this burglar has barged into Peter Parker's apartment and he's trying to hunt him down and kill him, but it looks like Mary Jane might get in the crossfires here. So it's a really good story here, as Spider-Man is dealing with the gang, and they're going after Peter Parker, and they end up burning up his apartment in the inside, starting a fire. And so, man, if you think Spider-Man's life is rough, it gets pretty rough when you have a gang that sets his apartment on fire. And then in issue number 13, Spider-Man has had enough of J. Jonah Jameson's garbage that he puts in his newspaper, so he finally confronts him. And I mean, this is a great story here. Definitely want to check it out. And if you haven't noticed, it is a Canadian price variant. So really cool here. This is in a lower grade issue though. It's about a VG, so a 4.0, but still great story here. Spider-Man basically has snapped here. He has had enough of Jameson's mouth, has had enough of the newspaper printing false stories about Spider-Man. And so really good story here. Definitely recommend it. And then we also have Amazing Spider-Man issue number 273. This goes along with the Secret Wars number 2. It's a tie-in. Spider-Man is going to team up with Puma here, who we know made his first appearance in issue number 256. This is a newsstand copy. And so they're both going to team up, and they're going to battle Beyonder, because there's that ancient prophecy that the Beyonder could be a threat to the entire universe, and only Puma is the one to defeat him. So didn't have this one. Got it in fine to VF shape. A really cool cover. With Ron Friends. Spectacular Spider-Man. So yes, I've read all of these, and it's a really good storyline. Here's part 2 of that story. And Puma has grown 3 times his irregular size, and he's going up against the Beyonder. And will Spider-Man be able to save the Beyonder? Why is Spider-Man going to try to save the Beyonder? You'll have to read this issue to find out. So yeah, once again, a great issue here in the newsstand copy. And we also have issue number 274 in a 7.5 condition. It's a Secret Wars 2 tie-in. I love this cover because it is drawn and inked by the great Larry Lieber and inked by John Romita Sr. So yes, it's a John Romita Sr. cover. Issue number 274. Just, you can tell this is a John Romita Sr. cover because of the way he draws the Green Goblin. Just look at his face. You can definitely tell that's a John Romita Sr. inking here, and you can also tell by the way the women are drawn here with Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane Watson. The Soul of the Spider. So this is now, I think, part 4. I don't have Secret Wars number 2, number 7. I think that ties in, but I have this part right here. So the Beyonder is battling of Mephisto. So that's going to be really cool, and definitely recommend this. It's a great read. If you have never read this issue, definitely grab it, pick it up, and read it for yourself. And I mean, it just shows the true character of Spider-Man. That's all I could say in this issue. They really did Spider-Man well in this issue, written really well by the great Tom DeFalco. The last book I'm going to show y'all today before we move on to the slab is none other than this Christmas cover. We have Spectacular Spider-Man issue number 112. A great Santa Claus issue with him holding a gun. You'd better watch out. That's right, y'all. You better watch out. He's coming for you. And so, that's a funny issue. This issue is like a throwaway issue. It's like just a filler issue. Nothing spectacular, nothing key to this. It's just a funny issue. So basically, this make-believe Santa, this guy who dressed up as Santa Claus, breaks into at one of Peter's neighbor's apartment, and he basically has to go save them because he's trying to steal gifts from people. And so you have a actual guy stealing presents from people like the Grinch. But yeah, it's a goofy cover. It's a nice read. Definitely recommend it if you are a Spider-Man fan. All right, y'all, are y'all ready for the moment of truth here? I have a graded copy of Web of Spider-Man. This is one of the books that was on my want list for this year, and I was so happy to grab a copy of this, and I think I got it for fair market value. And so what is the grade for this beautiful copy of Web of Spider-Man? Boom, a 9.8, y'all, a 9.8. This is my very first 9.8 copy ever. I've never owned a 9.8 graded copy of anything, and so I was very reluctant to snag a copy of this. I got this off of, not of eBay, but the Shortboxed app. I definitely recommend, if y'all have never bought anything from Shortboxed, definitely it's a great source to buy books, because I mean, look at this beauty of a cover by Charles Vess. It's the first appearance of the Vulturians in a 9.8 condition, and I got this fair market value. So I won't say the price, but I'll say I didn't overpay for this book. And so there you have it, folks. That is my haul for today. I was glad to show off all of these books that I picked up over the last 2 months. I hope y'all have enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all in the next one.